most people, including me, have a favorite Mario character. And, well, obviously that makes sense. Of course you're going to have a favorite character. But I kind of think about things probably more than I should. So I thought I would rank the top 10 best and use my big brain to think about which ones are the best. I'm going to be focusing more on characters that appear more frequently in Mario games, like obviously Mario, of course, would appear because he appears in every single one, and like Luigi or Peach or Bowser, so, characters like that. But I won't really count characters that have appeared in like one or two Mario games, just because most people might not know who they are, or just, yeah, that's kind of it. Just, it wouldn't make a lot of sense. Like, for example, I considered Lubba from Mario Galaxy 2 because he's a smart aleck, but he's appeared in one Mario game, so I don't really look at him as a popular Mario character, and I thought I should focus on the more popular ones in general. So, without further ado, let's go. Wow, I'm surprised we got to the main character so quickly. I think a lot of people disagree with this placement because Mario, I just find a lot of people don't think of him as their favorite character. Well, if I thought of him as my favorite character, obviously he'd be number one. But I just think there's a lot to love when it comes to Mario. He's a great gaming icon, definitely the most popular. I'd go as far to call him Mr. Video Game, but that's besides the point. He's just, it's more the little things, I would say, actually, that make up Mario. Like, some of the noises he makes, the really high-pitched sounds, just makes my day, makes me always feel happy that I chose to play Mario game. I really don't have much to say about him because I feel like more people will hate me as I keep going on. But that's generally how I feel about Mario, and I think he's a pretty solid character. But, like I said, it's the little things that make him good. So, let's just go on to the next character. Yoshi. One of the more popular Mario characters. I find a lot of people find Yoshi to be their favorite character. And while I can see why, I personally don't really feel the same about those reasons. I think a lot of people think he's cute, I guess, in the adorable puppy way, not in the human way. You know what I mean? But, and all that. But for me, that's just not really enough to make him my favorite. But he is a very nice character. For a while, I think when I was younger, he was actually my favorite. But just now I've come to like other Mario characters more. I find, like, with Mario, it's the little things that make him so cool, I want to say. Like, for example, he's cooler than Mario because he can flutter in the air and eat enemies and turn them into eggs and then throw them at other enemies. Which, now that I think about it, that's an oddly specific power Nintendo decided to give him. Anyways, yeah, that's pretty much it. He's a pretty solid character. So, let's move on to number 8. That's right, old DK is at number 8. I always kind of preferred the Donkey Kong Country games over some of the 2D Mario games. I wouldn't say the 3D ones, but some of the 2D ones. Not necessarily. I always kind of have different opinions. Like, for example, I think the controls in the 2D Mario games are a bit better. I find I can control Mario a bit better, whereas with Donkey Kong Country, the level design is 10 times better. So, I'm not really sure which one I prefer, but it is a nice change from just moving left and right, whereas with Donkey Kong Country, there are kind of 3D sections. You don't really move around them freely, you're kind of being blasted from barrels, but anyone who's played Donkey Kong Country kind of knows what I mean. Or at least I hope you do. Oh, I kind of think Donkey Kong's a bit better than Yoshi because, I mean, he's kind of cooler. Like I said before, he can punch things harder and swing from vines. And plus, he's a giant ape. So, he even looks better in terms of aesthetics. So yeah, I'm not, yeah, that's pretty much it. So, let's move on to number 7. I think Diddy Kong is better than Donkey Kong, simply because he's sillier. In case you couldn't tell, I like sillier qualities and characters over cooler ones. But that's besides the point. I think Diddy Kong is sillier simply because, well, the main one is, for a gun, he shoots out peanuts. So that alone is pretty funny. And I just find him to be a more likable character than Donkey Kong, I guess. I don't really have a major preference, but yeah. I do find Diddy Kong seems to be a little bit of an underrated character. I don't really hear many people talk about him, and if I'm not mistaken, a statistic shows that he's the least played character in Smash Ultimate. Although I can't really say I'm surprised, his moveset isn't the best. But, I mean, I'm more talking about underrated in terms of personality, not in terms of fighting style in Smash Bros. He's just a pretty funny character. I mean, that's really all there is. For these first few characters I've mentioned, it's more been the smaller qualities, the small details that make me like them. So, that's really all I got to say about old Diddy Kong. So without further ado, let's move on to number 6. At number 6, I have Princess Daisy. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are going to be mad she's not number 1. But hear me out for a sec. I understand why people tend to like Princess Daisy. And I personally think that's because of her personality. Or at least I think it is. I don't know, I've never really been too crazy about Daisy. Hey, that rhymed. Sort of. But anyways. She definitely has the best personality of all the princesses, because Peach, Pauline, and Rosalina, well, Pauline and Rosalina have a bit of personality, but Peach just gets kidnapped every 5 seconds. But she definitely has the way better personality. She's kind of a tomboy, and has really annoying voice lines in Mario Kart Double Dash. Anyone who's swapped between her and the other person in the cart knows what I'm talking about. I won't play the sound effect because I don't want to make your eardrums turn away, but basically she just says, "Hi, I'm Daisy," with the most annoying voice ever. But yeah. Anyways, I'm trying to be very careful because I don't want to get everyone mad at me. But her personality is pretty good. I just find I'm not as fond of it. I think I used that term right, but yeah, I'm just gonna move on to number 5 before you guys get really mad at me in the comments. At number 5, we have the Koopa King himself, Bowser. I don't know what it is, but I've always just been kind of fond of the guy. He's a good Mario character. He's definitely my favorite villain of all time. And he's just, I mean, it's Bowser. You gotta love him. I mean, the guy flies around in a clown car. That's ridiculous, but yet I love it. And his army's a joke. But again, that's why I love the guy. He just seems like, even though he's the villain, he always just seems so weird, like quirky almost. Again, I'm using words that I probably might not know the full meaning of, but I'm hoping I use them right. But anyways, he just seems to be like a really likable character. And fighting him is a joy. I mean, he's got some pretty good boss fights. And that's pretty much it. I mean, he's a really cool character. And you gotta love his wedding outfit in Mario Odyssey. Phenomenal. So, that's really all I got to say about the guy. Let's move on. Wario is insane. He feels more like a cartoon character than a video game character. He just... I don't know what it is about him, but he's just the weirdest guy ever. I mean, first of all, he's like morbidly obese to start with, and got a big pink nose, weird mustache. I almost swore, sorry about that. I want to keep it a little more family friendly. And he's Wario. You can't, you gotta love Wario. That's it, you just gotta love Wario. I haven't actually played any of WarioWare. And even with WarioWare Get It Together coming out, I still just didn't really bother to play it. I don't really know why, just the idea wasn't a huge interest to me. Just playing minigames all the time. Well, that's kind of the base idea of Mario Party, but still. But it's Wario. I mean, it's just Wario. I don't really know how else to describe it. He's just so weird. And yeah, I'm running out of things to say, but he's so weird. I love the guy, and he's so fun. But I won't stutter over things to say any longer. Let's move on to number 3. Bowser Jr. always has the most epic boss fights. In some ways, I prefer his to Bowser's. I mean, I'm not 100% sure. It all depends on what mood I'm in. Bowser I find is more epic, whereas Bowser Jr. I find is more fun. All depends on what I'm looking for. But that's not the point. The point is, Bowser Jr. is a great Mario character. You might wonder why I prefer him over Bowser, or put Bowser at 5, then Wario, then Bowser Jr. But I just think Bowser Jr. is way more likable than Bowser, and he just has better lines, I guess. I'm having trouble coming up with specifics, but still, I just think Bowser Jr. is just hilarious and a really good Mario character. And that's the gist of it, pretty much. I don't really have much else to say about him. He's just a really good Mario character, and I have a lot of great memories with his boss fights. So yeah, without further ado, let's move on to number 2. That rhymed. Luigi, such a likable video game character. Maybe even the most likable of all time. Okay, I'm probably really wrong about that, but to be fair, there's probably a lot of likable video game characters out there. But Luigi, you just get the sense that he's the kind of guy you'd want to hang with. I mean, he's really likable. He has a lot more personality than Mario, which is nice. And sometimes I think Mario's not even human. Like, he really doesn't have much of a personality when you think about it. I mean, sure, like I said, it's more the little things I like about him, but that make him good, I guess. But part of it's probably because we're playing as Mario, therefore we kind of control him. So, I'm sure we play as Luigi a lot, but not in every Mario game. And I just find, even when you're playing as Luigi, you just get the sense that he keeps his personality almost. Or maybe that's just because when you see him in cutscenes, that's the thought you're given, that that's how his personality is, so that's how you're always going to see him. I don't know. I just like the guy. Like, he's just so likable. And I'm basing this off of likability. Like, I just find that, like, for example, in Luigi's Mansion, I'm sure if Luigi wasn't trapped in the mansion and the doors were completely free to run through, he wouldn't do that. He'd go back and save Mario. And I just think that's part of the reason people like the guy. And he's just so funny. He just has a lot of funny moments. So, yeah. I think Luigi's a really good, nice Mario character. But without further ado, I've kept you in suspense long enough, unless you skipped ahead to number 1. But I think it's time to reveal who the best Mario character of all time is. At number 1, we have Waluigi. Are any of you surprised? He's hands down my favorite Mario character. Sure, he plays the bad guy sometimes, but he's still almost just as likable as Luigi. If not, I'd argue that he's more likable. And he's not only my favorite Mario character, but he's my favorite video game character of all time. And it's kind of sad that he's not in Smash Bros. Damn you, Sora. I'm just kidding. I'm glad you guys are happy that Sora's in Smash. But with that said, Waluigi is definitely the best Mario character because not only does he have the little things on his side, like Mario and Diddy Kong and all of them had, he actually has a full personality, which Mario didn't really have, which is why I'm more focused on the little things. Waluigi is the best Mario character in every way. His personality is to be like the quirky bad guy. And he plays that role much better than Wario because I just find he's much more enthusiastic, which makes him hilarious. I mean, there's just so many likable things about him. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And I really wish he had his own game. I mean, to be fair, I don't really have a big idea on what it should be. But I just want one. Maybe it should be a fighting game to make up for Smash. I don't know. But hey, he's still the best Mario character, whether he has his own game or not. And I just really, out of words, he's just so funny. And I really like his character. So, yeah, I hope you guys agree with this placement, and I think a lot of you would. Oh, and not only is he great in the games, he's definitely the best Mario character to meme. The memes of him are hilarious. So yeah. I think a lot of you would agree that Waluigi is probably the best Mario character. And I'm sure a lot of you would also disagree. But, hey, this is my opinion, so I'm kidding. No, it's not like that. Of course, being a top 10 channel, a lot of people disagree with you all the time, but the way I look at it is it's just more for something people to watch, to hear someone else's opinion, or to hear someone talk about their favorite game. Whether they agree with them or not, it's still nice to hear someone talk about it. So, yeah. And I think that you guys would agree with this list. And I also wanted to discuss, I think a lot of people would be confused. I think, like, Waluigi's so much better than Wario, considering like Wario, Bowser Jr., Luigi, then Waluigi. I just find Wario doesn't come off as likable. And he is likable, but just not as likable. And the memes around him, I find, are not nearly as funny. And he's not an underdog like Waluigi. It's always fun to support the underdog. But anyways, like and subscribe if you like that video. I will be posting more content like this ASAP, and I'll see you in the next video.